Guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ruthie, and I'm getting ready to make arroz con gondules, or red rice with pigeon peas or beans, however you want to call it in English. These are the ingredients that you are going to need: some adobo, garlic powder, onion powder, some tomato sauce, sazon, sofrito oil, some rice, and of course, the gandules or pigeon peas. And I will have everything linked down in the description box below. So the first thing I am going to do is heat my pan up and put maybe a tablespoon or so at the bottom of the pan, just enough to cover the pan so I could begin cooking my rice. I'm going to let this heat up, and while this is heating up, I am going to get my seasonings and stuff together so I can put it in the pan and start getting ready to cook. So here I'm adding in the tomato sauce, and I'm going to cook the tomato sauce with the seasonings first before I add in the rice. There's the garlic and onion powder that I'm going to put in, and you'll see me put all of the seasonings that you've seen in the beginning in. And I will have, again, everything linked down in the description box below, and this will also be on my website, ruthiecancook.com. So if you want to get step by step, it will be there as well. So I just added the sazon packet, and these are the gandules. I actually just buy the raw beans, and I cook them myself in the crock pot. It saves me money, and I know what goes into my food instead of buying it from the can, because sometimes the cans can be a little funny. But it does save a lot of money for me, so I get more for my money out of making it myself than to buy it by the can. And then I'm putting in my sofrito, and I do have a video on how to make sofrito, or my sofrito. It is the same as how everybody else does it. There could be different variations. Some might add tomato sauce. I don't, but this is really, really good sofrito. So there is a video, and it's also on my website, ruthiecancook.com, as well. I'm adding the adobo. However, I ran out of the adobo, and so I'm using my homemade adobo, which is on my website, ruthiecancook.com. I actually made this from scratch. I also have homemade sazon as well. I will be making videos in the future for these two seasonings, so I can share that with you as well. I'm just going to give everything a good stir to make sure the seasonings and sofrito and the beans are all mixed together. And I'm going to let this cook for a few minutes so that way all the flavors start to marry together before adding in the rice. And while this is actually on the stove heating up, I am washing my rice and getting ready to put it in. So that's how I do it. While this is cooking on the stove, I'm washing the rice, which gives it enough time to cook. So, and I'm just using I'm using Goya rice, which again will be linked down in the description box below. All of the ingredients, and I cooked about 4 cups of rice. I do plan on having leftovers for lunch, so I just give it a good washing, like 3 or 4 times, just to rinse off all the starch, and if there's any pebbles or anything that's sometimes in the rice, but mainly to get off the starch, so that way you don't have a whole lot of starchy rice. So I'm adding in the rice, and then I put a little bit of more water into the bowl so that way I can rinse the bowl out of any excess rice that's still left in there. And I see that there's not enough water yet. I want enough water to cover the rice, and to make sure that way I'm not, I have a nice fluffy rice and not a hard rice or too mushy rice. So I'm giving it a stir, but it doesn't look like it has enough water, so I'm adding a little bit more water. I'm also going to add some salt in, because you always want to salt your rice. Rice can be flavorless, so I'm going to add about a good tablespoon of salt. This is a lot of rice, so a tablespoon of salt is not going to hurt it, but you can adjust it to your flavor as you want. I'm giving that a good stir as well. And I'm going to attempt to do the spoon trick. Now, I've seen this on Sweets and Beyond. She does this trick where if the spoon stands up in the middle, it will, you could tell if you have the correct ratio between water and rice. So I can see my spoon was not doing that, so I'm adding a little bit more water, and it does work. I do use this method. I don't do it every single time, but I do use this method and it does work. As you see, it does work. And I've never had a problem with my rice once I get the spoon standing up. So, thank you, Sweets and Beyond. So I'm giving this as a mix. And I did forget an ingredient, which I should be adding in shortly, which is the green olives. There you go. My daughter actually reminded me that I forgot to put the green olives in. This actually is optional. You do not have to, but it does add an extra flavor to the rice. This is how I know how to make the rice. So in my household, we add the green olives. Give it a good stir. I'm going to let this cook until the water has absorbed, which is just like this. So now once all the water has evaporated, I'm going to lower the heat down to low. And then I'm going to put the lid on it and let this cook for a good 45 minutes until the rice is actually done, and occasionally going in and stirring the rice so that way it doesn't get all clumpy. And you want to do that maybe every 15 to 20 minutes. Just go and give it a good stir. When I was cooking, before I added in the rice with the seasonings, I had that on a medium-high. And I don't know if I mentioned that, but that was on a medium-high, and now it's on a medium, or it's on a low. This is the final product. The rice is actually done after 45 minutes, and I take my time with it. I just stir it, and it came out wonderful. We are actually serving this with some butterfly chops, and I put the chops in the air fryer instead of frying it in oil, and they came out great. I thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Any questions, leave in the comments below, and I will talk to you next time.